Today I'm going to be elaborating on my experience with olanzapine. This is a follow-up to my first video, and please do stick around to the end of this video because I will be posting the top 10 most popular comments. So in today's video, I will be going through some of the side effects that I got as a result of being on olanzapine and how they have carried over, even though I stopped taking olanzapine almost 2 years ago. I will then go over the complaint process, the complaint I lodged against my former consultant, and then I will go into the off-label prescribing of olanzapine, which is what happened in my case. Okay, so unfortunately, some side effects have carried over even though I have not been taking olanzapine for almost 2 years. So the first side effect is elevated cholesterol. Being on olanzapine elevated my cholesterol. It's one of the side effects of being on olanzapine. Before I was on olanzapine, my cholesterol was in the 5 region, and 5 is considered by health professionals to be a normal, healthy level. And that's where I was. When I was on olanzapine, my cholesterol level went from a 5 to an 8. The olanzapine pushed it up. And since I have stopped taking olanzapine, I have found it, really difficult to keep the cholesterol down. Now, I don't associate it to dietary things or genetics or anything like that. I associate it with the olanzapine because I never had elevated cholesterol outside of being on olanzapine. So I have to take a statin every day to bring it down. It's basically at a 7. I got bloods done about a month ago and the cholesterol was a 7. So that's one side effect that has carried over, and it's something I have to deal with and take very seriously because elevated cholesterol left untreated can be very dangerous. So the second side effect is acid reflux / heartburn. And again, like the cholesterol, I didn't experience before the olanzapine, but it has carried over and I have to take a gastro tablet. So another side effect that has carried over as a direct result of being on olanzapine is breathlessness. I just happened to come across a video where I was hiking the Caminito del Rey in Spain. After the first few steps, I was really struggling with my breath.
At least it's indoors.
Yeah, man. Let's hope the whole thing is a cave. Let's hope so. No, we go out onto the mountain and there's a walkway at the cliff edge. Oh, I got my breath back.
It is something that has carried over. I have symptoms which align with sleep apnea, which is basically when you stop breathing when you sleep. And I'm having that problem almost every night. I don't know if it's a direct link. I have to find out, do a bit of a detective trail and find out. But I would be very surprised if it isn't related to the breathlessness I experienced. And so now I'm going to move into the complaint that I lodged against my former consultant psychiatrist. When I actually stopped taking olanzapine was August of 2022, and I had been on it for almost 2 years at that stage. So I lodged the complaint almost immediately because I had fallen prey to the Zyprexa withdrawal. Zyprexa withdrawal is a notoriously harsh withdrawal. It is something that causes suicidal ideation. Now, this is a very well documented fact of Zyprexa withdrawal, is that it causes suicidal ideation. And that's exactly what happened to me. I nearly took my own life during that withdrawal. That's how bad it was. Now, I've never been suicidal outside of that withdrawal, not before or since. I nearly took my life because that withdrawal was so severe and so bad. This complaint is still ongoing. I can tell you that my consultant retired within the first year of that complaint. I think that tells you something. Why would my consultant psychiatrist retire? in June last year, attended a meeting. It was with my consultant psychiatrist, former consultant psychiatrist, and an intermediary who was there to take notes. I really just wanted to get some answers because I was prescribed an antipsychotic drug, even though I never presented with psychosis and I was never given a diagnosis. And I also wanted to know why the withdrawal was so bad. And I didn't get an answer to those questions, which really are the two most important questions. But when I asked my consultant why the Zyprexa withdrawal was so bad, my consultant turned to the intermediary and said, well, never heard about that. Maybe we should keep an eye on that. The complaint really was ultimately binned within the first year. The reasons I was given was that adverse side effects are not taken into consideration under their complaints process. I was also told that as I was under clinical care, it did not fall under the complaints procedure. Now, I was under the clinical care of my former consultant who was offering clinical care, and yet that wasn't grounds for the complaint. I am still rattling that cage, if you like, because I have a right to know why I was prescribed an antipsychotic drug without an official diagnosis. And that's really the black and white of this whole story, is that I was prescribed an antipsychotic drug without an official diagnosis. Now, I did actually receive some documentation from my former consultant, and my former consultant said, there is no diagnosis. There is never a single diagnosis in psychiatry. That's what I was told. And I don't buy that at all. To me, that's nonsense. It doesn't mean anything. It's really quite simple. I was prescribed an antipsychotic drug off-label. So off-label is basically someone prescribing a drug that does not align with what that drug was manufactured for. Olanzapine was approved in September 1996 by the FDA, and it's been on the market ever since. It was specifically manufactured to treat two psychotic disorders, and I've mentioned this in my first video: schizophrenia and bipolar. It is also used as a mood stabilizer for dementia-related psychosis, okay? Anything outside of that is considered off-label use. In fact, by definition, it's off-label use. I do not have schizophrenia or bipolar. I do not suffer from dementia. Why was I prescribed an antipsychotic drug off-label? And it's a question I might not ever get the answer to. And that's a wrap on my second video about olanzapine. If you liked the video, please do give it a thumbs up, and please do share this video. All I really want at the end of the day is to raise awareness about the off-label prescribing of olanzapine. I think it's immoral. I think it's wrong. And don't get me wrong, you know, I understand that certain people might very well need to be on olanzapine. Someone who has a diagnosis of schizophrenia or bipolar, someone with dementia who needs their mood stabilized. I understand that what they present with aligns with olanzapine was manufactured for. I get that. And the side effects, it's kind of a case of, well, this here is bad, but this here is not as bad as it was. I'm not debating that at all. I understand that. So for someone like myself who never should have been put on olanzapine, I had to go through all of those unbelievably horrible side effects. And if you look at the first video, I go into those a bit more detail. I am actually going to share the video from the first video just to show again how much weight I gained as a result of being on olanzapine. And so if you just have a look here. So again, as you can see, I look extremely overweight. I look extremely bloated. You know, in this video, it's hard to watch because I look like someone who wasn't taking care of themselves. And that absolutely, positively was not the case. I looked that way because the olanzapine made me look that way. And as you can see, the difference between my presentation in this video and the way I look in that video, you can see that they're poles apart. And the weight gain is very evident, but all of the other side effects that I've touched on in this video and more so in the first video, they're all going on at that point in time. The fatty liver, the elevated cholesterol, the heartburn, the acid reflux, the libido problems, the breathlessness. All of that is going on. And you have to ask yourself, why? All for what? Because someone didn't know how to help me with what I presented with. I just want to raise awareness and I want to stop the off-label use of olanzapine. Thank you so much for watching this video and for watching the first video. Don't forget to like and share this video. If you want to subscribe, feel free to do that. I hope there's other things on my channel that would appeal to you. So as promised, I am now going to post the top 10 comments from the first video. Do stick around to the end. They're very informative. Thank you again and catch you on the next one.